The courtroom smells like old wood and stale coffee. I sit at the table on the left side, my hands folded in my lap, trying to keep them from shaking. My lawyer, Ms. Garrett, is beside me, flipping through documents with the kind of calm efficiency that comes from doing this 1,000 times before. Across the aisle, my ex-husband Richard sits with his lawyer, a man in an expensive suit who looks like he bills by the minute. Richard is leaning back in his chair, one arm draped casually over the armrest, like this is all just a minor inconvenience. Like I'm just a minor inconvenience. We've been divorced for 6 months, but it feels longer. The marriage lasted 8 years. The unraveling took 2. Now we're here, in front of a judge, fighting over what's left. Richard wanted this. The court hearing, the formal division of assets. He could have settled quietly, but he insisted on making it public, making it official, making sure everyone knew that he won and I lost. I glance at him. He's scrolling through his phone, not even pretending to pay attention. His lawyer leans over, whispers something, and Richard smirks. That smirk. I used to think it was charming. Now it just makes my stomach turn. The judge enters, a woman in her 60s with gray hair pulled back in a tight bun and glasses perched on her nose. Everyone stands. She sits. We sit. The bailiff announces the case. Richard's lawyer stands first. Your Honor, this is a straightforward matter. My client, Mr. Richard Brennan, has been more than generous in the settlement negotiations. However, Miss Brennan, he pauses, corrects himself. Miss Hayes has refused every reasonable offer. I hate that he still calls me Miss Brennan. I took back my maiden name the day the divorce was finalized. Miss Hayes is seeking an unreasonable portion of assets she did not contribute to, the lawyer continues. She did not work during the marriage. She did not invest. She did not build the business that my client now runs successfully. She is, quite frankly, attempting to profit from my client's hard work. Ms. Garrett starts to stand, but the judge raises a hand. I'll hear from you in a moment, counsel. Richard's lawyer nods, sits down. Richard leans over, says something to him. They both smile. The judge looks at me. Miss Hayes, do you have anything to say before we proceed? I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Miss Garrett touches my arm gently. You don't have to speak if you don't want to, but I do want to. I want to tell the judge everything. About the years I spent supporting Richard while he built his company. About the dinners I cooked, the events I organized, the clients I entertained. About the nights I stayed up helping him prepare presentations, proofreading proposals, managing schedules. About how he told me we were a team. About how he promised that when the business took off, we'd both reap the rewards. But my voice won't work, so I just shake my head. The judge nods. Very well. Let's proceed. Richard's lawyer stands again. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to address the character of Miss Hayes. My client has expressed concern that this case is not about fairness, but about bitterness. Miss Hayes has made it clear, both privately and publicly, that she resents my client's success. She has objection, Miss Garrett says sharply. Counsel is editorializing. Sustained, the judge says. Stick to the facts, counselor. Richard's lawyer clears his throat. Of course, Your Honor. The facts are these. Miss Hayes contributed no financial capital to the business. She holds no ownership stake. She signed a prenuptial agreement that clearly delineates asset division, and yet she is now claiming entitlement to 50% of my client's company. That's not what we're claiming, Miss Garrett says, standing. We're claiming what Miss Hayes is legally entitled to under California law, which recognizes contributions made during a marriage, financial or otherwise. Contributions, Richard's lawyer says, his tone dripping with condescension. Your Honor, Miss Hayes's contributions amounted to hosting dinner parties and managing a household. Hardly the foundation of a multi-million-dollar business. I feel my face flush. Miss Garrett's hand is on my arm again, steadying me. The judge looks at Richard's lawyer over her glasses. Are you finished? Almost, Your Honor. I'd just like to state, for the record, that my client believes Miss Hayes is pursuing this case not out of genuine need, but out of spite. She is. In his words, he glances at Richard, who nods. Broke and bitter. The words hang in the air. Broke and bitter. Like I'm some pathetic, vindictive woman who can't move on. Like I'm nothing. Richard is smiling now. Not smirking. Smiling. like he's proud of himself. The judge looks at me. Miss Hayes? I still can't speak. I just stare at the table. Miss Garrett stands. Your Honor, I'd like to submit evidence that directly contradicts counsel's characterization of my client. The judge nods. Proceed. Miss Garrett opens her briefcase, pulls out a folder. Your Honor, during the marriage, Miss Hayes was not merely a homemaker. She was an integral part of her husband's business. She managed client relations, organized corporate events, and handled administrative duties, all without compensation. More importantly, she contributed financially. Richard's lawyer stands. Your Honor, there's no record of sit down, the judge says. I'll hear the evidence. Ms. Garrett hands a document to the bailiff, who passes it to the judge. This is a copy of a loan agreement, signed 8 years ago, when Mr. Brennan was starting his business. Miss Hayes loaned him $50,000, her entire inheritance from her late grandmother, to cover startup costs. I watched the judge read. Her expression doesn't change. The loan agreement, Ms. Garrett continues, includes a clause stating that if the business became profitable, Miss Hayes would receive 50% ownership. Mr. Brennan signed it. It was notarized. Richard's face goes pale. His lawyer is flipping through papers, looking panicked. Your Honor, the lawyer says, we were not made aware of this document. That's because your client didn't disclose it, Ms. Garrett says. But it's legally binding, and it changes everything. The judge looks at Richard. Mr. Brennan, did you sign this agreement? Richard doesn't answer. He's staring at the document like it's a ghost. Mr. Brennan, the judge says again, her voice sharper. Yes, he says finally, but it was a long time ago. You didn't think it mattered? The judge says, you didn't think a legally binding contract mattered? Richard's lawyer stands. Your Honor, we'd like to request a continuance to review. Denied, the judge says. She looks at the document again, then at me. Miss Hayes, were you aware of this agreement? I nod. Yes, Your Honor. And you've been attempting to enforce it? Yes, Your Honor. The judge sets the document down, folds her hands. Mr. Brennan, this agreement clearly states that Miss Hayes is entitled to 50% ownership of your business. Do you dispute the validity of this contract? Richard looks at his lawyer. His lawyer looks at the floor. No, Richard says quietly. I don't dispute it. The judge nods. Then this court recognizes Miss Hayes as a 50% owner of Brennan Consulting. All assets, profits, and liabilities will be divided accordingly. She looks at Richard. And for the record, Mr. Brennan, calling your ex-wife broke and bitter in my courtroom was not only disrespectful, it was inaccurate. Court is adjourned. She stands. Everyone stands. And then she's gone. Richard is still sitting, staring at nothing. His lawyer is packing up, moving quickly, like he wants to get out of here as fast as possible. I stand slowly, my legs shaky. Miss Garrett is smiling. You did it, she says. I don't feel like I did anything. I just stood there, but I nod anyway. Richard finally looks at me. His face is red, his jaw tight. You knew, he says. You knew the whole time. Yes, I say. I knew. Why didn't you? Because you didn't think I mattered. I say. My voice is steady now. Clear. You thought I was broke and bitter. You thought I had nothing. But I had this. I always had this. He doesn't say anything. Just stands. Walks out. His lawyer follows. Miss Garrett and I are alone in the courtroom. She packs up her briefcase, hands me a copy of the agreement. Keep this somewhere safe. I will. We walk out together, into the bright afternoon sun. The courthouse steps are crowded with people, lawyers, clients, families. I stand at the top, looking out at the street, and for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. I walk down the courthouse steps slowly, feeling the sun on my face. Miss Garrett walks beside me, her heels clicking against the concrete. You should celebrate, she says. This was a big win. I know, I say, but I don't feel like celebrating. I feel exhausted. Relieved, yes, but mostly exhausted. We reach the sidewalk. Miss Garrett stops, turns to face me. What will you do now? I don't know, I say. Figure out what 50% of a company actually means, I guess. She smiles. It means you're a business owner. It means you have options. It means you're not broke. She pauses. And you're definitely not bitter. I laugh a little. No, I'm not. We say goodbye. She gets into a taxi. I stand on the sidewalk, watching the city move around me. People rushing to meetings, to lunch, to wherever they need to be. Normal lives, normal days. My phone buzzes. A text from my sister Jen. How did it go? I type back. I won. 3 dots appear immediately. Then, WHAT. Tell me everything. Later I write. I need to process. Okay, but I'm so proud of you. I smile. Put my phone away. I start walking. I don't have a destination in mind. I just walk. The city feels different today. Brighter maybe. Or maybe I feel different. Lighter, like I've been carrying something heavy for so long that I forgot what it felt like to put it down. I think about Richard, about the look on his face when the judge read the clause. The shock, the disbelief, the anger. Part of me feels bad for him, but only a small part. The rest of me feels nothing. That's the strangest thing. I thought I'd feel triumphant, vindicated, but I just feel done, like I've closed a book I should have closed a long time ago. I end up at a coffee shop near my apartment. It's small, quiet, with mismatched furniture and plants in the windows. I order a latte, sit by the window, and watch people pass by. My phone rings. I don't recognize the number, but I answer anyway. Miss Hayes? A woman's voice, professional. This is Linda Chan from Brennan Consulting. My stomach tightens. Yes, I'm the CFO. I wanted to reach out personally to congratulate you on the court decision and to schedule a meeting, if you're available. We need to discuss the transition. Transition? You're now a 50% owner. That means you have a say in how the company operates. We'd like to bring you up to speed on current projects, financials, strategic planning. Wait, I say. I wasn't planning on being involved. I thought I'd just collect a check. Linda says. There's no judgment in her tone, just curiosity. You could do that, but you'd be missing an opportunity. What kind of opportunity? To actually run the company you helped build. To have a voice. To make decisions. She pauses. Richard isn't the only one who knows how to do this, Miss Hayes. You were there from the beginning. You know the clients. You know the work. You could do this. I stare out the window. A woman walks by with a stroller. A man in a suit checks his watch. Life continuing. Can I think about it? I ask. Of course. Take all the time you need, but I hope you'll consider it. We could use someone like you. After we hang up, I sit with my coffee and think about the years I spent in the background, about the dinners I organized, the clients I charmed, the problems I solved, about how Richard always introduced me as my wife and never by my name, about how I became invisible, even to myself. And I think about the loan agreement, about my grandmother, who left me that money with a note that said, use this to build something that matters. I thought I was building a marriage, a partnership, a life. Maybe I was building something else all along. I pull out my phone, call Linda back. I want to be involved, I say. Not just as an owner. I want to work. I want to be part of the company. That's wonderful, Linda says. I can hear the smile in her voice. When can you start? Monday? Monday works. I'll send you the details. When I hang up, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Excitement, possibility, hope. I finish my coffee, walk back to my apartment. It's small, a 1-bedroom I rented after the separation, but it's mine. I unlock the door, step inside, and look around. The furniture is secondhand. The walls are bare, but it's a start. I sit on the couch, pull up my laptop, and start researching. Business management, corporate strategy, leadership. I read articles, watch videos, take notes. I'm rusty, but it's coming back. The part of me that used to love this. The part I buried when Richard told me I didn't need to worry about the business side of things. That night, Jen calls. Tell me everything, she demands. So I do. I tell her about the courtroom, about Richard's face, about the judge's ruling. I tell her about Linda's call, about my decision to get involved. Oh my God, Jen says, you're going to be his boss. I hadn't thought about it that way, but she's right. 50% ownership means I have as much say as Richard, maybe more, if I play it right. I'm not doing this to get back at him, I say. I know, but it's still poetic justice. Maybe. Emma, this is huge. You know that, right? You're not just getting money, you're getting your life back. I think about that. My life, for so long, my life was tied to Richard's. His schedule, his goals, his dreams. I became an extension of him. A supporting character in his story. Not anymore. Yeah, I say. I guess I am. Over the weekend I prepare. I go through old files, old emails, old notes. I reconstruct everything I did during the marriage. Every client I helped land. Every event I organized. Every problem I solved. It's more than I remembered. So much more. On Monday morning, I put on a suit when I haven't worn in years and take the train to the office. Brennan Consulting is in a sleek building downtown, all glass and steel. I've been here before, of course, for holiday parties, for client dinners, but never as an owner, never as someone who belongs. Linda meets me in the lobby. She's in her 40s, with short black hair and sharp eyes. Miss Hayes, welcome. Call me Emma. Emma. She smiles. Let me show you around. We take the elevator to the 10th floor. The office is open plan, with rows of desks and glass-walled conference rooms. People look up as we pass. Some recognize me, some don't. I keep my head up, my shoulders back. Linda leads me to a corner office. This is yours. I stop in the doorway. Mine? You're a 50% owner. You get an office. She gestures inside. It's empty now, but you can decorate however you like. I step inside. The room is bright, with floor-to-ceiling windows that look out over the city. There's a desk, a chair, empty bookshelves. It smells like new carpet and possibility. Richard's office is down the hall, Linda says. He's not in today. He knows I'm here. Yes, I informed him on Friday. I wonder what he said, what he's thinking, but I don't ask. Linda and I spend the morning going over financials. The company is doing well, better than I expected. Revenue is up. Clients are happy. There are plans to expand. Richard is good at what he does, Linda says, but he's not good at everything. He's a visionary, but he's not detail-oriented. He's charismatic, but he's not always strategic. That's where you come in. You think I can do this? I know you can. I've seen the old client files. I've read the emails. You were doing half the work already. You just weren't getting credit for it. By lunchtime, I've met most of the senior staff. They're polite, professional, cautious. They don't know what to make of me yet. The ex-wife who's now the co-owner, the woman who was invisible and is now in charge. Linda takes me to lunch at a restaurant across the street. We sit by the window, order salads, talk about the company's future. What does Richard think about all this? I ask finally. Linda sets down her fork. Honestly, he's furious, but he's also smart enough to know he can't do anything about it. The contract is ironclad. Will he try to buy me out? Probably, but you don't have to sell. What if working together is impossible? Then you make it possible, or you make it so uncomfortable for him that he's the one who leaves. She leans forward. Emma, you have power now, real power. Don't give it away just because it's awkward. I think about that, about power, about how I spent 8 years giving mine away, piece by piece, until I had nothing left. I won't, I say. When we get back to the office, Richard is there. I see him through the glass wall of a conference room, talking to someone on the phone. He looks up, sees me, and our eyes meet. For a moment, neither of us moves. Then he looks away, continues his conversation like I'm not there. Linda notices. He'll come around, or he won't. Either way, you're here to stay. I spend the rest of the afternoon in my office, reading reports, learning systems, making notes. It's overwhelming, but it's also exhilarating. I forgot what it felt like to use my brain like this, to solve problems, to build something. At 5 o'clock, there's a knock on my door. I look up. Richard is standing there. Can I come in? I hesitate, then nod. Sure. He closes the door behind him, sits in the chair across from my desk. He looks tired, older than I remember. I didn't think you'd actually show up, he says. Why wouldn't I? Because you hate me. I consider that. I don't hate you, Richard. I just don't trust you anymore. He nods slowly. Fair enough. He looks around the office. This is strange. For both of us. I never thought. He stops, rubs his face. I never thought you'd use that contract. I thought you'd forgotten about it. I didn't forget. I just didn't need it. Until I did. You could have reminded me. Before the divorce. We could have worked something out. You called me broke and bitter in court. I say quietly. You humiliated me in front of a judge. Why would I have worked anything out with you? He doesn't have an answer for that. I'm not here to punish you, I say. I'm here because this company is half mine. Because I helped build it. Because I deserve to be here. I know, he says. And for the first time, he sounds sincere. I know you do. We sit in silence for a moment. Then he stands. I guess we're partners now. I guess we are. He walks to the door, stops. For what it's worth. I'm sorry. For all of it. Okay? I say. Because what else is there to say? He leaves. I sit at my desk, staring at the city through the window. The sun is setting, painting the buildings gold and orange. It's beautiful. My phone buzzes. A text from Jen. How was day one? I smile. Type back. Complicated, but good. Proud of you, sis. Thanks. I pack up my things, turn off the lights, and leave the office. The building is quieter now. Most people gone for the day. I take the elevator down, walk out into the cool evening air. On the train home, I think about everything that's happened. The courtroom, the contract, the office, Richard's apology. It feels surreal, like I'm living someone else's life. But it's my life. Finally, when I get home, I change into comfortable clothes, make dinner, and sit on the couch with my laptop. I pull up the company's website, look at the About Us page. There's a photo of Richard, a bio that talks about his vision, his leadership, his success. There's nothing about me. I make a note to change that. Over the next few weeks, I settle into a routine. I arrive at the office early, stay late, learn everything I can. I meet with clients, sit in on strategy sessions, review contracts. Some people are skeptical at first, but I prove myself. I show them I'm not just Richard's ex-wife. I'm a business owner who knows what she's doing. Richard and I maintain a professional distance. We're polite in meetings, cordial in emails. We don't talk about the past. We don't talk about us. We just focus on the work. It's not easy, but it's working. One afternoon, Linda stops by my office. I have something for you. She hands me a folder. Inside is a proposal for a new client, a tech startup looking for consulting services. It's a big account, potentially lucrative. Richard wants to pitch them next week, Linda says. But I think you should do it. Me? You know the industry. You have the skills. And honestly, I think they'd respond better to you than to Richard. Why? Because you're not trying to be the smartest person in the room. You're trying to solve their problem. That's what they need. I look at the proposal. It's good, solid, but I can make it better, okay? I say, I'll do it. I spend the next week preparing. I research the startup, study their market, identify their pain points. I build a presentation that's clear, compelling, focused on their needs, not ours. The day of the pitch, I'm nervous, but I'm also ready. The meeting is in our conference room. The startup's founders, 2 women in their 30s, arrive on time. I greet them, offer coffee, make small talk. Richard is there too, sitting in the corner watching. I start the presentation. I talk about their challenges, their opportunities, their goals. I show them how we can help. I answer their questions. I listen. By the end, they're smiling. This is exactly what we needed. One of them says, "When can we start?" "Whenever you're ready," I say. They sign the contract that afternoon. After they leave, Linda hugs me. "You did it. We did it," I say. Richard approaches, hands in his pockets. "That was impressive. Thank you. I mean it. You're good at this." I meet his eyes. "I always was. You just didn't notice." He nods. "I know, and I'm sorry for that. It's not enough, but it's something." That night, I celebrate with Jen. We go to a nice restaurant, order wine, toast to new beginnings. "You're glowing," Jen says. "I haven't seen you like this in years. I feel like myself again." I say, "Like I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to be doing." "You are, and you're killing it." I smile. "I'm trying." "No," she says, "you're succeeding." There's a difference. Over the next 6 months, I transform from co-owner in name to co-owner in practice. I lead client meetings, negotiate contracts, hire new staff. I rebuild relationships with clients who remember me from the early days, who are surprised and pleased to see me back. The company grows. Revenue increases by 30%. We land 3 major accounts. We expand into new markets. And through it all, Richard and I maintain our careful balance. We're not friends. We're not enemies. We're business partners who share a complicated history. One day, Linda asks me to join her for coffee. We sit in my office, The door closed. I have a proposition, she says. Okay. Richard wants to step back. Not completely, but partially. He wants to focus on vision and strategy, let someone else handle day-to-day operations. And he wants me to do it. We want you to do it. The board, the senior staff, me, you've proven yourself. You're ready. I sit back in my chair processing. What does that mean exactly? It means you'd be CEO. Richard would be chairman. You'd run the company. He'd advise. CEO. The word feels too big, too impossible. I don't know if I can, you can. Linda says firmly. You've been doing it already. This just makes it official. What if I fail? What if you succeed? I think about that. About the woman I was 6 months ago, sitting in that courtroom, being called broke and bitter, about how far I've come, about how much further I could go. Can I think about it? Take the weekend. But Emma, she leans forward. You deserve this. Don't let fear stop you from taking it. That night, I call Jen. They want to make me CEO, I say. She screams, literally screams. Oh my God, Emma, that's incredible. It's terrifying. It's both, but you have to do it. You have to. What if Richard changes his mind? What if he tries to sabotage me? Then you deal with it. But you can't not do this because you're afraid of what might happen. You have to do it because of what will happen. I spend the weekend thinking, walking, writing, making lists of pros and cons, imagining what it would feel like to say yes, to say no on Monday morning. I walk into Linda's office. I'll do it, I say. She smiles. I knew you would. The announcement goes out that afternoon. Internal email first, then press release. Emma Hayes, co-owner and new CEO of Brennan Consulting. Richard Brennan transitioning to chairman role. My phone explodes with messages. Congratulations from colleagues, clients, friends. Questions from reporters. A text from Richard that just says, congratulations. You earned it. I sit in my office, my CEO office now, and look out at the city. The same view, but everything feels different. That evening, I go back to my apartment. It still feels too small, but I haven't had time to look for something bigger. I make dinner, pour a glass of wine, sit on the couch. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Emma Hayes? A man's voice. Warm and familiar. Yes, this is James Morrison. I don't know if you remember me. Of course I remember you. James was one of our first clients, back when the company was just Richard and me in a dream. How are you? I'm well. I heard the news. Congratulations on the CEO position. Thank you. I'm calling because I wanted you to know when Richard started the company, I almost didn't invest. The business plan was solid, but something felt off. Then I met you. You were the one who convinced me. Your passion, your intelligence, your vision. I invested because of you. I feel my throat tighten. I didn't know that. Richard never told you? No, well, you should know. You were always the heart of that company. I'm glad you're finally getting the recognition you deserve. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet of my apartment and cry. Not sad tears, not angry tears, just release. All those years, I thought I was invisible. I thought I didn't matter, but I did. I always did. The next few months are a whirlwind. I restructure departments, implement new systems, launch new initiatives. I hire a VP of operations who's brilliant and efficient. I promote Linda to COO. I build a team I trust. Richard attends board meetings, offers advice when asked, but mostly stays out of the way. We're cordial, professional. Sometimes I catch him watching me during presentations, and I can't read his expression. Pride maybe, or regret, or both. One afternoon, he stops by my office. Do you have a minute? Sure. He sits down, and for a moment he just looks at me. I've been thinking about what you said in court, about how I made you feel invisible. I wait. You were right. I did that. I took credit for your work. I minimized your contributions. I made you feel like you didn't matter. He pauses, and I'm sorry. Really sorry. Okay. I say, I know that's not enough. I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I wanted you to know that I see it now. I see what I did, and I see what you're doing now. You're a better CEO than I ever was. Richard, it's true. The company is thriving. The staff respects you. The clients love you. You're doing what I couldn't do. I don't know what to say, so I just nod. He stands, walks to the door, then turns back. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. After he leaves, I sit at my desk and stare at the door. Proud of me. The words I waited years to hear. And now that I have them, they don't mean as much as I thought they would. Because I don't need his pride anymore. I have my own. A year after the court hearing, the company celebrates its 10th anniversary. We throw a party, a big one, at a hotel downtown. Clients, staff, partners, everyone. I give a speech. I talk about the company's history, its growth, its future. I thank the team. I acknowledge Richard's contributions. And then I say something I've been wanting to say for a long time. 10 years ago, this company started with a dream and a $50,000 loan. That loan came from me, my inheritance from my grandmother, who told me to use it to build something that matters. I pause, look around the room. I thought I was investing in a business, but I was really investing in myself, in my future, in the belief that I could do this. The room is silent. So thank you to everyone here for believing in this company, for believing in me, for helping me build something that matters. The applause is thunderous. Afterward, people come up to congratulate me, to shake my hand, to tell me their stories. Richard approaches last. That was a good speech, he says. Thank you. I never knew about your grandmother, about what she said. There's a lot you never knew. He nods. I'm realizing that. We stand there for a moment. Two people who used to be married, who used to be everything to each other, who are now just colleagues with a shared past. I hope you're happy, he says finally. I am, I say, and I mean it. He walks away. I watch him go, then turn back to the party. Jen is there, waving me over. Linda is laughing with a group of clients. The room is full of light and noise and life. I take a breath, smile, and walk toward them, toward my future, toward everything I built, toward everything I am. 2 years pass. The company doubles in size. We open offices in 3 new cities. We're featured in Forbes Inc., Business Insider. Emma Hayes, the CEO who turned her divorce settlement into an empire. But success is complicated. I'm working 70-hour weeks. I haven't taken a vacation in 18 months. I eat lunch at my desk, dinner in the car, breakfast standing up. My apartment, I finally moved to a bigger one, feels like a hotel. I sleep there, shower there, but I don't live there. Jen notices first. You look exhausted, she says. We're having dinner at her place, a rare evening off. Her kids are in bed. Her husband is cleaning up in the kitchen. I'm fine. I drive back to the city that night, the highway stretching dark and empty ahead of me. The dinner was hours ago, but I'm still thinking about the young women I met, their hope, their determination, their belief that they could do anything. I used to have that. Before marriage, before Richard, before I learned to make myself smaller to fit into someone else's life. But I have it again now. Different maybe, tempered by experience, but real. When I get home, I pour a glass of wine, sit on my balcony, and look out at the city lights. My phone buzzes. A text from Richard. Heard your speech was incredible. Proud of you. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I type back. Thank you. It's strange. This new relationship we have. Not friends exactly. Not enemies. Something in between. Something that works. The next morning, I'm in the office early. Linda is already there, coffee in hand. How was the dinner? She asks. Good. Really good. I read about it online. Someone posted a video of your speech. It's going viral. I pull out my phone, search for it. There I am, standing at the podium, telling my story. The video has hundreds of thousands of views. The comments are overwhelmingly positive. This made me cry. I needed to hear this today. She's incredible. I close the app, set my phone down. That's surreal. That's impact. Linda says, you're inspiring people, Emma. Not just with the company. With your story, over the next few weeks, I get interview requests, podcasts, magazines, conferences. Everyone wants to hear about the woman who went from broke and bitter to CEO. I say yes to some, no to others. I'm learning to protect my time, my energy, my peace. One interview stands out. It's for a women's business magazine. The journalist, a woman in her 40s named Rachel, asks thoughtful questions. Not about Richard, not about the divorce, but about me, about my journey, about what I learned. What would you say to women who feel invisible? She asks. I think about that. I'd say you're not invisible. You're just surrounded by people who aren't looking. And that's their failure, not yours. And what about forgiveness? Have you forgiven your ex-husband? I've made peace with what happened. I don't know if that's the same as forgiveness, but it's enough. What's next for you? I smile. Balance. I spent so long fighting to be seen, to be valued, to be successful. Now I want to figure out what success actually means to me. Not to anyone else. To me. The article comes out a month later. The headline reads, Emma Hayes, the CEO who chose peace over power. It's perfect. That weekend, I'm at the cottage. I'm in the garden, planting tomatoes when I hear a car pull up. I stand, brush dirt off my hands, and see Jen walking toward me. Surprise, she says. What are you doing here? I wanted to see this place. And you? She looks around. Emma, this is beautiful. We spend the afternoon together. I show her the cottage, the garden, the town. We have lunch at the cafe, take a walk by the pond, sit on my porch and watch the sunset. You seem happy, Jen says. I am. Really happy. Not just okay. Actually happy. Yeah. I say, I think I am. She reaches over, squeezes my hand. I'm so proud of you. Not because you're a CEO, not because you're successful, but because you figured out what matters. That night, after Jen leaves, I sit on the porch alone. The stars are out, bright and clear. I can hear crickets, the distant sound of a train, the wind in the trees, and I think about everything that brought me here. The courtroom, the contract, the years of feeling invisible, the moment I decided to fight back, the moment I decided to let go. All of it led to this, to peace, to balance, to a life that's mine. My phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. Miss Hayes, this is David Chan. My mother Linda told me about you. I'm starting a nonprofit for women entrepreneurs. Would you consider joining our advisory board? I smile, type back. I'd love to. Let's talk. Because this is what matters now. Not building an empire, not proving anyone wrong, not winning, helping, connecting, lifting others up. The next morning, I wake up early, make coffee, sit on the porch and watch the sunrise. The sky turns from deep blue to pink to gold, and I feel something I haven't felt in years. Gratitude. Not for what I have, not for what I accomplished, but for who I became in the process. The woman who stood in that courtroom and was called broke and bitter. The woman who pulled out a contract and changed everything. The woman who became CEO and then learned that wasn't enough. The woman who chose peace. I am all of those women, and I am none of them. I am simply Emma, and that is enough. I finish my coffee, go inside, and open my laptop. I start writing. Not a business plan, not a strategy document, just words, thoughts, my story. Maybe I'll turn it into a book someday. Maybe I won't. But I need to write it. For me. For the young women who need to hear it. For anyone who's ever felt invisible. I write about the loan agreement. About my grandmother's note. About the years I spent supporting Richard. About the moment in court when everything changed. About building a company. About learning to let go. I write for hours. The sun moves across the sky. The day passes. And I keep writing. When I finally stop, it's evening. I have 20 pages, raw, unpolished, honest. It's a start. Over the next few months, I continue writing. On weekends at the cottage, on quiet evenings in the city, during lunch breaks, whenever I have time. The story grows, deepens, becomes something real. Linda reads it first. She cries. This is powerful, Emma. You have to publish it. I don't know, I do. This will help people. This will change lives. Jen reads it next. She calls me immediately. Emma, this is your truth. You have to share it, so I do. I find a literary agent. She loves it. We work together to refine it, shape it, make it stronger. Then we send it to publishers. 3 make offers. I choose the one that feels right. Not the biggest advance, not the most prestigious name. The one that understands what I'm trying to say. The book comes out a year later. It's called The Contract. How I Went from Invisible to Unstoppable. It debuts on the bestseller list. I do a book tour. I speak at bookstores, libraries, conferences. I meet readers who tell me my story changed their lives, who tell me they finally feel seen, and I realize something. This connection, this impact, This purpose, this is what my grandmother meant when she said to build something that matters. Not a company, not a career, not success, a legacy. One evening, I'm at a bookstore in Chicago, signing copies. The line is long. People wait patiently, clutching their books, excited to meet me. Near the end of the line, I see a familiar face. Richard. He's holding a copy of my book. He looks older, grayer, but there's something different about him. Something softer. When he reaches the front of the line, he sets the book on the table. "Hi," he says. "Hi." I read it, the whole thing. And you were right. About everything. About me. About us. About what I did. He pauses. "I'm sorry, Emma. Really. Truly sorry." I look at him. At this man I used to love. This man who hurt me. This man who, in hurting me, forced me to find myself. "I know," I say, "and I forgive you." He smiles. It's a sad smile, but genuine. "Thank you." I sign his book. Write a simple message. "For Richard. May you find your own peace." He takes it, nods, and walks away. And I feel nothing but lightness. That night, I fly back to the city, back to my apartment, back to my life. But the next morning, I drive to the cottage, because that's where I belong now. Not in boardrooms, not in offices, not in the city. Here, in the quiet, in the peace, in the life I built for myself. I sit on the porch with my coffee and watch the sunrise. And I think about the woman I was, the woman in the courtroom, broke and bitter. And I smile, because I was never broke. I had a contract worth millions, and I was never bitter. I was just waiting for my moment. And when it came, I didn't just take it. I transformed it into something beautiful. You're not fine. You're running yourself into the ground. I have a company to run. You have a life to live. She reaches across the table, takes my hand. "Emma, when's the last time you did something just for you? Not for the company, for you." I think about it. I can't remember. "You proved your point," Jen says gently. "You showed Richard. You showed everyone that you're capable, that you matter. But now what? You keep working until you collapse, until you have nothing left." I don't know how to stop, I admit. "Then learn." That conversation stays with me. I think about it during meetings, during late nights at the office, during the rare quiet moments when I'm alone with my thoughts. I think about my grandmother, about the note she left with the money. "Use this to build something that matters." I built something, but does it matter if I'm miserable? One morning, I wake up and can't get out of bed. Not because I'm tired, though I am, but because I can't remember why I'm doing this anymore. The drive, the passion, the purpose, it's all gone. I'm just going through the motions. I call Linda, tell her I need a few days off. "Are you sick?" she asks, concerned. "I don't know," I say honestly. "Maybe." I spend 3 days in my apartment. I don't check email. I don't answer calls. I just sit on the couch and stare at the wall. On the 4th day, Jen shows up with groceries and a plan. "Get dressed," she says. "We're going somewhere." "Where?" "You'll see." She drives us out of the city, into the countryside. We drive for 2 hours, through farmland and forest, until we reach a small town I've never heard of. She parks in front of a yoga studio. "Seriously?" I say. "Seriously. We're taking a class, Jen." "I don't do yoga." "You do now." The class is gentle, restorative. The instructor, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes, talks about breathing, about being present, about letting go. I'm terrible at it. My mind wanders. My body is stiff. But by the end, I feel something I haven't felt in months. Calm. After class, Jen and I get lunch at a cafe down the street. It's small, cozy, with mismatched chairs and handwritten menus. "How do you feel?" Jen asks. "Different," I say. "Good, different. You need more of this. More quiet. More space." I know, but I don't know how to make that happen. The company needs me. The company will survive without you for a few hours a week. You won't survive without taking care of yourself. She's right. I know she's right. When I go back to work the following Monday, I make changes. I hire an executive assistant to manage my schedule. I block off time for lunch, for exercise, for nothing. I start leaving the office at 6 instead of 9. I say no to meetings that don't need me. At first, it feels wrong, irresponsible, like I'm abandoning my responsibilities. But the company doesn't fall apart. In fact, it runs smoother. My team steps up. Decisions get made faster. People stop waiting for me to approve everything, and I start to breathe again. One afternoon, I'm in my office when Richard stops by. He does that occasionally, drops into chat, to check on things, to offer advice I don't always need. You seem different, he says. Different how? Lighter, happier. I consider that. I am. Good. He sits down. I wanted to talk to you about something. Okay. I'm thinking about selling my shares. I stare at him. What? Not all of them, but most. I want to retire, travel, do something other than work. He pauses. I'm 62, Emma. I've spent 40 years building companies. I'm tired. Who would you sell to? You. If you want them. I sit back in my chair, processing. If I buy Richard's shares, I'd own the company outright. Complete control, complete responsibility. I need to think about it, I say. Of course. Take your time. After he leaves, I sit in my office and think about control, about power, about what I actually want. That night, I drive out to the countryside, to the town where Jen took me. I find a yoga studio, take another class. Afterward, I walk around the town. It's quiet, peaceful. There's a bookstore, a coffee shop, a park with a pond. I sit on a bench by the pond and watch the sunset. And I realize something. I don't want complete control. I don't want to own everything. I don't want to work until I'm 62 and realize I've spent my whole life in an office. I want balance. I want peace. I want a life. The next day, I call Richard. I'll buy half your shares, I say. Not all. Half. Why half? Because I want you to stay involved. Not day to day, but as a partner. As someone who cares about this company as much as I do. I pause. And because I don't want to do this alone, he's quiet for a moment. Then he says, okay, half. We work out the details over the next few weeks. I buy 50% of his shares, giving me 75% ownership. He keeps 25%, stays on the board, remains chairman. It's not perfect, but it's right. The day the deal closes, Linda throws a small celebration in the office. Champagne, cake, speeches. People congratulate me, tell me I deserve it, tell me they're proud. And I am proud, but not because I own more of the company. I'm proud because I made a choice. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, not out of fear, out of wisdom. That weekend, I go back to the small town. I walk into a real estate office, ask about properties for sale. What are you looking for? The agent asks. Something small, quiet, a place to get away. She shows me 3 houses. The third one is perfect, a cottage on the edge of town, with a garden and a porch and windows that let in light. I'll take it, I say. I spend the next few months fixing it up, painting walls, planting flowers, buying furniture that's comfortable instead of expensive. I hang photos of Jen and her family, of my grandmother, of the lake cabin where my father left me his apology. And I hang one more thing. The loan agreement. The contract that changed everything. I frame it, put it on the wall, not as a trophy, but as a reminder of where I came from, of what I survived, of who I became. I start spending weekends at the cottage. I take yoga classes. I read books. I cook meals that take hours. I sit on the porch and watch the sunset and do absolutely nothing. And it feels like everything. One Sunday afternoon, I'm in the garden when my phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize, but I answer. Miss Hayes? This is Sarah Chen. You don't know me, but I'm one of the recipients of the Helen Morrison Memorial Fund, my grandmother's scholarship, the one my father set up, the one I've been funding since his death. Hi, Sarah, I say. I wanted to thank you. The scholarship changed my life. I graduated last year, and I just got my first book deal. I wanted you to know that your support, your family's support, made that possible. My throat tightens. That's wonderful, Sarah. Congratulations. I also wanted to ask, would you be willing to speak at our annual scholarship dinner? We'd love to hear your story. I think about my story, about the courtroom, the contract, the years of feeling invisible, about building a company, becoming a CEO, learning to let go. Yes, I say. I'd be honored. The dinner is 2 months later in the city. I wear a simple dress, stand at a podium, look out at a room full of young women who remind me of myself at their age. And I tell them the truth. I spent years thinking I didn't matter, I say. Thinking I was invisible. Thinking my contributions didn't count because they weren't loud or obvious or recognized. The room is silent. But I was wrong. I did matter. My work mattered. My voice mattered. I just had to believe it first. I pause. So my advice to you is this. Don't wait for someone else to see your value. See it yourself. Know it yourself. And then build something that reflects it. The applause is thunderous. Afterward, young women come up to me. They tell me their stories, their dreams, their fears. They ask for advice. They thank me, and I realize something. This matters more than any business deal, more than any title, more than any amount of money. This helping someone else see their own worth, this is what my grandmother meant. This is what matters. I drive back to the city that night, the highway stretching dark and empty ahead of me. The dinner was hours ago, but I'm still thinking about the young women I met. Their hope, their determination, their belief that they could do anything. I used to have that. Before marriage, before Richard, before I learned to make myself smaller to fit into someone else's life. But I have it again now. Different maybe, tempered by experience, but real. When I get home, I pour a glass of wine, sit on my balcony, and look out at the city lights. My phone buzzes. A text from Richard. Heard your speech was incredible. Proud of you. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I type back. Thank you. It's strange. This new relationship we have. Not friends exactly. Not enemies. Something in between. Something that works. The next morning, I'm in the office early. Linda is already there, coffee in hand. How was the dinner? She asks. Good. Really good. I read about it online. Someone posted a video of your speech. It's going viral. I pull out my phone, search for it. There I am, standing at the podium, telling my story. The video has hundreds of thousands of views. The comments are overwhelmingly positive. This made me cry. I needed to hear this today. She's incredible. I close the app, set my phone down. That's surreal. That's impact, Linda says. You're inspiring people, Emma. Not just with the company. With your story, over the next few weeks, I get interview requests, podcasts, magazines, conferences. Everyone wants to hear about the woman who went from broke and bitter to CEO. I say yes to some, no to others. I'm learning to protect my time, my energy, my peace. One interview stands out. It's for a women's business magazine. The journalist, a woman in her 40s named Rachel, asks thoughtful questions. Not about Richard, not about the divorce, but about me, about my journey, about what I learned. What would you say to women who feel invisible? She asks. I think about that. I'd say you're not invisible. You're just surrounded by people who aren't looking. And that's their failure, not yours. And what about forgiveness? Have you forgiven your ex-husband? I've made peace with what happened. I don't know if that's the same as forgiveness, but it's enough. What's next for you? I smile. Balance. I spent so long fighting to be seen, to be valued, to be successful. Now I want to figure out what success actually means to me. Not to anyone else, to me. The article comes out a month later. The headline reads, Emma Hayes, the CEO who chose peace over power. It's perfect. That weekend, I'm at the cottage. I'm in the garden, planting tomatoes when I hear a car pull up. I stand, brush dirt off my hands, and see Jen walking toward me. Surprise, she says. What are you doing here? I wanted to see this place. And you? She looks around. Emma, this is beautiful. We spend the afternoon together. I show her the cottage, the garden, the town. We have lunch at the cafe, take a walk by the pond, sit on my porch and watch the sunset. You seem happy, Jen says. I am. Really happy. Not just okay. Actually happy. Yeah. I say, I think I am. She reaches over, squeezes my hand. I'm so proud of you. Not because you're a CEO. Not because you're successful, but because you figured out what matters. That night, after Jen leaves, I sit on the porch alone. The stars are out, bright and clear. I can hear crickets, the distant sound of a train, the wind in the trees. And I think about everything that brought me here. The courtroom, the contract, the years of feeling invisible, the moment I decided to fight back, the moment I decided to let go. All of it led to this, to peace, to balance, to a life that's mine. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Miss Hayes, This is David Chan. My mother Linda told me about you. I'm starting a nonprofit for women entrepreneurs. Would you consider joining our advisory board? I smile, type back. I'd love to. Let's talk. Because this is what matters now. Not building an empire, not proving anyone wrong, not winning, helping, connecting, lifting others up. The next morning, I wake up early, make coffee, sit on the porch and watch the sunrise. The sky turns from deep blue to pink to gold, and I feel something I haven't felt in years. Gratitude. Not for what I have, not for what I accomplished, but for who I became in the process. The woman who stood in that courtroom and was called broke and bitter. The woman who pulled out a contract and changed everything. The woman who became CEO and then learned that wasn't enough. The woman who chose peace. I am all of those women, and I am none of them. I am simply Emma, and that is enough. I finish my coffee, go inside, and open my laptop. I start writing. Not a business plan, not a strategy document, just words, thoughts, my story. Maybe I'll turn it into a book someday. Maybe I won't. But I need to write it. For me, for the young women who need to hear it, for anyone who's ever felt invisible. I write about the loan agreement, about my grandmother's note, about the years I spent supporting Richard, about the moment in court when everything changed, about building a company, about learning to let go. I write for hours. The sun moves across the sky. The day passes, and I keep writing. When I finally stop, it's evening. I have 20 pages, raw, unpolished, honest. It's a start. Over the next few months, I continue writing. On weekends at the cottage, on quiet evenings in the city, during lunch breaks, whenever I have time. The story grows, deepens, becomes something real. Linda reads it first. She cries. This is powerful, Emma. You have to publish it. I don't know, I do. This will help people. This will change lives. Jen reads it next. She calls me immediately. Emma, this is your truth. You have to share it. So I do. I find a literary agent. She loves it. We work together to refine it, shape it, make it stronger. Then we send it to publishers. 3 make offers. I choose the one that feels right. Not the biggest advance, not the most prestigious name, the one that understands what I'm trying to say. The book comes out a year later. It's called The Contract: How I Went from Invisible to Unstoppable. It debuts on the bestseller list. I do a book tour. I speak at bookstores, libraries, conferences. I meet readers who tell me my story changed their lives, who tell me they finally feel seen, and I realize something. This connection, this impact, this purpose, this is what my grandmother meant when she said to build something that matters. Not a company, not a career, not success, a legacy. One evening, I'm at a bookstore in Chicago, signing copies. The line is long. People wait patiently, clutching their books, excited to meet me. Near the end of the line, I see a familiar face. Richard. He's holding a copy of my book. He looks older, grayer, but there's something different about him. Something softer. When he reaches the front of the line, he sets the book on the table. Hi, he says. Hi. I read it, the whole thing. And you were right. About everything. About me. About us. About what I did. He pauses. I'm sorry, Emma. Really. Truly sorry. I look at him. At this man I used to love. This man who hurt me. This man who, in hurting me, forced me to find myself. I know, I say, and I forgive you. He smiles. It's a sad smile, but genuine. Thank you. I sign his book. Write a simple message. For Richard. May you find your own peace. He takes it, nods, and walks away. And I feel nothing but lightness. That night, I fly back to the city. Back to my apartment. Back to my life. But the next morning, I drive to the cottage. Because that's where I belong now. Not in boardrooms. Not in offices. Not in the city. Here, in the quiet. In the peace. In the life I built for myself. I sit on the porch with my coffee and watch the sunrise. And I think about the woman I was. The woman in the courtroom. Broke and bitter. And I smile. Because I was never broke. I had a contract worth millions. And I was never bitter. I was just waiting for my moment. And when it came, I didn't just take it. I transformed it into something beautiful.